Hello and welcome to this FPL Gameweek 32 Free Hit selection with me, Holly Shand. I shared my first draft on Monday. We're now on Thursday and things have changed a little bit, so I'm going to be talking you through my final 11. Help me get to 18,000 subscribers. Let's get into it. Looking back to my initial draft then, and one thing that was really bothering me was having Kane and Trippier facing off against each other. I don't think that that's a wise move on a free hit to have two players from opposing teams up against each other. And while Kane is quite highly owned, Trippier is the most owned player available on Free Hit 32, and he has got sensational home form, whereas Kane has struggled on the road. So at the moment I'm leaning towards dropping Kane and getting just Trippier in my 11. And we also need to bear in mind that that will open up different Arsenal options for me, because this draft was very tight on the budget. Speaking of Arsenal assets then, I had Ben White in my first draft, but I had quite a stacked defence and I didn't really know who was going to play from those 4 or 5 options. So I've decided to streamline things, and dropping Kane allows me to get a third Arsenal attacker, which I think is way more exciting when we look at the Arsenal's players' ownership and their potential in this fixture against Southampton at home. I think it's really wise to be tripled up on the attack. So I'm looking to get Saka back into my midfield, who I expect to stay on penalties despite missing one last weekend. And we also need to bear in mind that he is a player that is prolific at home. I really think that Arsenal can deliver in this game. As well as struggling with the third Arsenal spot, I've also been struggling with the third Liverpool spot. The plan was to go double defence and Salah, going with Trent and Robertson. Trent's obviously locked in. Robertson, I am having to look at Gakpo purely because of his midweek game. In that game against Leeds United, he really excelled. But the worry for me with Gakpo is just his minutes, because, you know, Klopp has got a lot of his injured players coming back now. We saw minutes for Jota. We know that Diaz is back in training. We've seen Darwin Núñez get minutes as well. We cannot be sure who starts, whereas Robertson has got a little bit more upside in defence. Nottingham Forest aren't scoring goals. They're really struggling for goals, particularly on the road. So I do feel like, you know, knowing that Robertson will probably start, play 90 and keep a clean sheet, he does have a little bit of attacking threat as well. He had one big chance and one big chance created against Arsenal back in game week 30. I still think that maybe Robertson is the one to go for of the two. That opens up the third midfielder spot though, with Kane being dropped, and the two names on my watch list were Ivan Toney and Dominic Solanke. The thing that puts me off Toney is that I really want to go with Emi Martinez in goal, and I think that Aston Villa's defensive form is so strong at the moment that, you know, Brentford are struggling in recent games. I haven't got a lot to play for right now. Aston Villa look like they've got tunnel vision on charging down these results. So it's Solanke I'm leaning towards, because obviously Bournemouth are in that relegation battle, but they have been in very good form in recent games, as has Solanke, who has had 5 big chances since the international break. He's also on penalties. West Ham seem to be conceding a lot of penalties, so it seems like a good pick for my team. Having made these decisions in my starting 11 then, it was time to look towards the bench players, and I am still on tunnel vision when it comes to picking Martinez, but I am happy to pick the popular community pick of Sam Johnston as my backup goalkeeper. He got his first clean sheet under Hodgson last time out, 11 saves in his last 2 games as well. I also think it's worth having Mark Gay just as a backup Palace defender on my bench in case anyone misses out, because I do think they've got a really good chance of a clean sheet at home to Everton. I'm also looking at Aston Villa's Alex Moreno as a backup defender as well. I've had Mings for a while in my main FPL team, but I think Moreno is just edging it now when it comes to that attacking threat. He's taken up some high positions on the pitch, and that's something to watch out for. And I'm really excited by my first sub, Fulham's Andreas Pereira. Obviously Fulham are supposedly on the beach, but they still put in a brilliant performance last weekend, and Pereira has got plenty of opportunities with being on set pieces, also on penalties with Mitrovic out. And you look at Leeds United's current form, conceding goals for fun, I think Fulham could do really well in that home game. Here's how the team shapes up then. Martinez starts between the sticks away to Brentford. I just feel like he's got massive potential for points given his current form, his save rate, his ability to amass bonus points as well, with Johnston on the bench. Then in defence, it's the double up on Liverpool defenders with Trent and Robertson. I'm really excited to see what Trent can do because he's been prolific since adopting this new role in Liverpool's midfield. I think it's only going to help him in his quest for attacking returns. And I'm also having Trippier in my back line as well, another defender more than capable of getting those attacking returns and bonus points if Newcastle were to keep a clean sheet at home to Spurs. Moving into midfield then, and Mo Salah is one of the players I'm most excited about this week. He's in form, he's got Nottingham Forest at home, really high ceiling for him, as has Eze, who's going to be a big differential. I know it feels like a lot of the FPL community are playing free hit, but probably still in a minority against the masses on this one. And Eze is a man in form for Crystal Palace. He's the one that's got the goal threat and he's doing it consistently under Hodgson. Also got that double up on the Arsenal midfielders with Martinelli and Saka. Feels really good going into the Friday night game at home to Southampton, knowing that I can cheer on all these Arsenal assets who have now gone from our main squad, and Gabriel Jesus joins them for the triple up on Arsenal assets. He's been sensational since coming back from injury, and I imagine his goals will keep on coming. Watkins has to be a lock in our teams. He is just undroppable right now on current form. He just cannot stop scoring, and Solanke makes up the 11. Another bit of a differential pick, but a penalty taker as well, which is really important. When it comes to captaincy then, the standout fixtures are Arsenal at home to Southampton and Liverpool at home to Nottingham Forest. In terms of the captain picks, probably from Arsenal, I feel like Martinelli is the one right now that has the form. I think it's absolutely fine to go with Trent as captain this week, and no, it is a big differential, but in a week where we've got no Haaland, he could be one to really prosper in this new role. But for me, I feel like Salah is the one that probably carries the most chance of getting goals and assists in FPL this week. He's on pens as well, hopefully, even though he's missed 2 in the more recent schedule. But for me, it's going to be Salah captain, Martinelli vice captain. Any dilemmas about your own squad, get them in the comments. I do my best to answer all of your questions within 24 hours of the video going live. Also, help me get to 18k subscribers before the end of the month. All of your support on the channel is really appreciated. Good luck for FPL Game Week 32.